Hey guys, thank you for joining us on this episode of NTP. And today we're continuing our interview with Amy Yates, a nutritional therapist who sees patients from all over the world, but who is lucky enough to be living here in Abilene, Texas with us. So today we are going to talk to her about how she cooperates with Lord in business. So Amy, one of the things that you talked about was how you partnered with the Lord to get a clear picture of what you wanted your career to look like. But what are some of your other convictions with how you partner with the Lord in business?
Yeah, so I have a great passion for people being able to be freely themselves in every area of life. And so that means when you show up to work, you show up and you're the same person that shows up at home and shows up at church and goes out with friends. When it comes to work and when it comes to business, if we hold parts of ourselves back, even those parts that may not be what we would consider socially acceptable in business, like our emotions, then we're holding also back some of our greatness. And so my desire has been from the beginning is to just partner with the Holy Spirit and to be able to be freely me every time I sat down with a patient, and to be able to visit with them and to give them all of me, just like I would sit down with each child of mine and give them all of me, or sit down with my best friend and be able to give her all of me. So, yeah.
Okay, so let's unpack that, because that's really beautiful, but what does that look like practically? Like you said a little something about like being able to sit down with somebody and even give them your emotions. You mean like the feminine heart that you carry, like the compassion you carry? Is that what you're meaning?
Yeah, I think sometimes, especially as females, we feel like we have to walk into the business world in our power suit, and it may be okay to put on our stilettos, but we better not show too much other than that. So, we're not being truly ourselves, and we're not giving the world everything that it needs. I think there were some really great things that came with the women's lib movement of the 70s. But I also think there were some things that were lost in that. And that was our God-given ability as women to, we all know it, to be a little bit more emotional, or to have a little bit more intuition, or to feel a little bit more. And that's not to say that men don't have those same things. But, we need to be able to present those and to give those. And yes, I work as a nutritionist, and so it may be a little bit more acceptable to do that in that setting. But my desire is to see all people be able to be truly themselves in every setting and to give all of themselves. Our world needs all of us. And the more that we're able to freely give of ourselves and every piece of ourselves, then the greater ability we have to be creative and to impact the business world for the kingdom.
Would you explain a little bit more about when you said being whole like that allowed you to step into your creativity? I know I'm saying it a little different than how you said it, but there at the end you said something really beautiful about creativity coming from us being ourselves.
There are a lot of things that make up a personality and make up the way that we present ourselves. And when we can look in the mirror and address all of those things and not be afraid of them, then we're able to give the world something that maybe before we would have held back. And people need to know that. Even when you're sitting down with somebody, they may need to know that this feels scary to you too, or you may not have it all together, but you're wanting to give them your all. It's probably been 10 years ago, I sat down with my grandmother, who was a politician in the 50s and 60s when females weren't really politicians.
Well, she was brave.
Yes, and I just asked her, what was it like? And she said, I was never treated ugly. I was always treated with respect. And that's because she was never prepared to be treated ugly or to be treated disrespectful. She was free to give herself and to be truly herself. And that's what came back to her. And I think so many times what we give out to the world is what comes back to us. But so many times, as females especially, we feel like we have to put on a different face when we walk into that business setting. And that's not the case.
From knowing you, I know this is more than just like a place that you have a value in. This is a conviction. So could you talk to me about this conviction that you have?
Yeah, so I just think that it's time in all areas, in the business world, in the home, in the church, for men and women to truly team up together. We need both of us, and we need us not to be ashamed of who we are and who Christ has created us to be. There's so much power in that. There's power for the generations to come to see that, for them to not fight the fight that we fought.
It's true.
There's power, for young men to see women and men working together from the pulpit. There's a need for young children to see males and females both in the school systems and in the business world, to where we're all working together, that we can truly replicate what Christ is, both male and female.
What do you think is so beautiful when that happens? What do you see happen when men and women partner together?
I see that we're not striving anymore, that we're not fighting, that we just begin to kind of glide and work and things function, that we need both parts of both of us to make our world turn right.
I love that. Okay, guys, there's things in your identity that you are not walking in that you need to start. It's time. Embrace your identity, embrace your call, and be who you're really called to be. And then ask yourself the question, what are the things that you need to let go of, that you're striving in, that really aren't part of your makeup and aren't part of your design? Spend time before the Lord this week asking those questions and be honest enough about the answers that you can actually make progress in getting set free. And don't forget, if you haven't caught our first part of our video with Amy, go back and watch it. And then make sure you're looking out for the next part where we wrap it up with her and find out the rest of the ways she cooperates with Jesus.